I feel like everyone in Piper Raquel's life failed that girl and should be ashamed of themselves.
At the end of the day, she is legally an adult now and it's her decision.
Kid influencer has joined OF. She made $2 million in one day.
Does it trouble you that a lot of your fans are older men?
We've seen this time and time again. From Miley Cyrus on Disney Channel to Little Tay, childhood stars who just grew up way too fast and felt like there was only one option to stay relevant: selling their bodies. And I say this while also knowing you cannot hate the player, you gotta hate the game. All these girls are victims to the harsh world that we live in, where the younger you are, the more you are fetishized. Today we are looking at yet another case of this, Piper Raquel, who has been on the internet literally her whole life. Before she even knew how to do simple math, Piper was in front of a camera in the spotlight. So it only makes sense that her childhood led her to pick a new career path the day she turned 18. OnlyFans. Now, as you watch this video, I want you to know that I do not blame Piper. If anything, I wish her all the best, because in my eyes, even though she is an adult who can make her own choices, her childhood still had a major effect on the choices that she is making today. And I just hope that she is safe and has a good support system around her, but sadly, as we will see in this video, that might not be the case. So, Piper was born on August 21st, 2007 in a town called Canton, Georgia. I have no clue where that is other than it's in Georgia. I think they talk like this in Georgia. I don't know, I just know like peaches. Are peaches grown in Georgia? At the age of 3, Piper Raquel was entered into beauty pageants by her mother, Tiffany Smith, who will be a reoccurring character, potentially villain, in today's video. Piper would go on to win first place in one of these beauty pageants, and I felt like this should have been a red flag for everybody. I mean, I could go on and on about how I think beauty pageants are pretty bad for kids, but I'm pretty sure studies do show that putting very young kids in beauty pageants forces them into the spotlight where they are viewed in an adult-like sexual way and impact their self-esteem and perception of womanhood. Emphasizing the superficial can change how a child sees the world as their brains develop, which kind of set Piper Raquel up for a future of exploitation, sadly. I mean, just look at this video. Piper was probably 5 years old in this and being treated like a grown woman. I mean, she literally looks grown in this. The way he touches her, the way they're looking at her, I'm sorry, where was her mom? Her mom was endorsing this? I know this is just kind of normal for some people, but I personally just don't think this should be normalized, and I feel like a lot of the internet agrees that these children are not of any age to be making decisions for themselves. I mean, God, when I was 3 years old, I was digging in the dirt eating earthworms on accident and chicken poo. Yeah, some pretty bad decisions because my brain was not developed. So you can only imagine a little child's brain being told to compete in these and be that close to an old ass man acting in a sexual way. Like, yet again, I don't blame Piper for this because she was 3 years old. I blame the parents. Where were the parental figures? Anyways, sorry, I'm getting riled up and we're only a few minutes into the video. This can be a fun one. So around the age of 8, Piper started a TikTok account, which was actually then called Musical.ly. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what Musical.ly was. It's basically TikTok. It's the same thing, you just lip synced more. It was more centered around doing some lip syncs, and you would film videos like this. You know, that type of vibe. And I remember being 10 years old with a Musical.ly account, obsessed with Piper's Musical.lys. And it's so funny to look back at because I was actually older than her. I'm like older by like 1.5 years. So not by much. I idolized her in my mind. I thought she was so cool. I don't know why I thought she was so cool. Like, she was doing pretty basic stuff on Musical.ly, but I was like, damn, this kid, she gets to keep up with the trends. She gets to wear all these outfits. And I was low-key jealous as the little 10-year-old that I was that for some reason had social media access. But I guess it's all for the better because look where we're at now. But it's just funny because looking back at that, I had no clue where we'd be at today. If only you told little me what would be happening 10 years into the future. But with her success on Musical.ly, she started making YouTube videos, which eventually she would amass over 12 million subscribers. So it's safe to say that she is top of her game for children's content. If you are like a preteen, a young kid, kid, you were probably obsessed with Piper Raquel if you had access to the internet. But her content on YouTube often had sexual theme about it for being a kid's channel, but it was also subtle enough that it could cater to a younger audience, like with the bright colors. You know, if you took a quick glance at it, you probably would not realize how sexual the content was. She would lean into young kids' desires to watch like romantic crush content, and has had multiple boyfriends or like crushes in her videos since she was like 12 years old. Every time I would look back at her channel, because over the years I'd like keep up with her even though I wouldn't watch her videos, I'm just like, what is she up to now? And every single time I would look back, I swear she would be promoting a new boyfriend or a new crush, but it was just at such a young age. Like, I know middle schoolers be like dating or whatever and holding hands, but this was taken to an extreme with titles like introducing my crush to my ex-boyfriend, my crush reacts to my old Instagram photos, Tinder in real life, last to stop ignoring their girlfriend. Just look at the poses in this thumbnail. It's not appropriate content for children to consume. And of course, even Jordan Matters involved in making a video titled Recreating Viral Crush Photos, but honestly, am I even surprised? That man digs his hands into every children's life. Oh my gosh.
Those crush videos, some people thought inappropriate.
Sure, I you know, people can think that for sure.
Fast forward to 2017, she began making videos with her friends who they all dubbed the Squad, making a lot of like prank videos and role plays and this crush content that we just talked about. These were child actors essentially. I mean, they were working for Piper, but more so for Tiffany. I mean, even for some time, the kids lived with Piper in her home, in her nice big mansion. I mean, I can't blame them. I would want to live in a mansion too. But it was at the end of the day so they could just film more and more content. I mean, if I were a parent of these children who moved in with a mother who benefits off of their backs, like Tiffany makes money and her lifestyle is supported off of these children, that would just raise some red flags to me as a mom. Okay, child, you could go live with these influencers who literally make money off of you and, as we will see, don't pay you the proper amount that they should be. Fast forward again, in 2022, 11 former members of the Squad filed a lawsuit against Piper's mom, Tiffany. This included names like Sophie Fergie, Claire Rock Smith, and Aiden Meekus? If for whatever reason you're chronically online, maybe you know them. I don't know. They sued for $22 million in damages and accused Smith of subjecting them to emotional, physical, and sometimes sexual abuse, as well as failing to pay them for their work on Piper Raquel's YouTube channel. This is where it's important to note that Tiffany was not the only adult involved with these kids' alleged abuse. Tiffany had been dating a man named Hunter Hill for a while at that point, and I believe they are still together. He was the channel's videographer and editor, and there was multiple clips of him being strange with the kids, like this one of him playing Kiss, Marry, Kill with Piper at a young age.
All right, I'm here to help Piper pick some people here, and they're kind of older guys. Don't judge Piper about the age thing because like she's 10. It's just a game. It's just a game. Don't judge her.
I'm probably gonna kiss David. Don't worry, Liza. I'm not gonna fear you, man.
I mean, that's just not something you play with your girlfriend's child. It just has an icky feeling to it. That video just feels icky. To make matters worse, he was also referred to as Piper's older brother in videos, and apparently off camera, she also kind of had this dynamic with him like he was her brother, when in reality, he was his mom's boyfriend, which that must have been so strange to have both of those dynamics at once. Like, yeah, I'm dating this person that's like your older brother. And I think using the term older brother made him sound a lot less suspicious to the audience. I mean, he is this random guy in her videos. If they just said, like, this is random guy in my videos, that would have raised suspicion. So I think it made him sound like more of a safe person for Piper, when in reality, it seemed anything but, because he had the initiative for Piper to make sexual themed and explicit content for children, since he knew that was what sold and what would bring him in the most money, because he allegedly made 10% of the profits from the channel. So he had an initiative to want Piper to make these videos because his living was based off of it. But it's also sad at the same time because Hunter and Tiffany met when he was only 19 years old. And I'm pretty sure they started dating shortly after. I could not find out how old Tiffany is, but based on Piper's age, I'm going to assume she was in her 30s when they met. I don't know, unless Tiffany was like a teen mom, because Piper's dad did leave the picture right away, which is quite sad. I feel really bad for her. Like, there are so many components as to to why her life is low-key traumatic. So yeah, Piper is not the only one being exploited by her mother. I mean, Hunter was, yes, an adult at 19, but his brain still was not fully developed. And the fact that they are still together, I can't imagine if that man is also in some way being manipulated by Tiffany. But I also don't feel that bad for him because he is part of this. There is a child younger than him who was being exploited and he did nothing about it, and he literally helped them do that. So I can only feel so bad. It's like when a roach comes into my house. I feel bad for killing you, but at the same time, you're in my home and you need to go. Now you might be wondering, what other proof do I have that Tiffany and Hunter were exploiting these children other than just making oddly sexual content on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram, like the whole thing? They were cross-platform, Snapchat, you name it, they were on it. Well, in the Netflix documentary Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kinfluencing, Piper's ex-squad members share how when Piper was 11 years old, her mother would send someone named Megan extra photos of Piper in exchange for money or gifts. I mean, this was essentially OnlyFans. I mean, literally selling pics of your child. That's not OnlyFans. That's a whole other level, actually. That selling photos of your child to get gifts in return. Apparently, they all like got Gucci bags from this and camera gear and like squishies. Poor Piper was getting squishies in exchange for extra photos of herself to this grown man named Megan. And yes, he was a man. He was not a woman. Even though online he posed to be one because he had like a Piper fan account. He was just doing that obviously as a Trojan horse. And to make matters even worse, like this is bad, Tiffany would send people Piper's used underwear. Yeah. For those reasons.
After we dropped Piper off, Tiffany was like, I have to go to the post office and drop off some things. Looked like Piper's underwear, and I asked her like, why are you like shipping those out? And she told me that old men like to smell them.
Guys, I know this is all alleged, but I don't understand why this group of kids would come together and just flat out lie. Based on what we know of every other situation, child influencers being kind of abused and mistreated by their parents, I would not be surprised. It's alleged, but let's be real here. All the facts are adding up. Tiffany would also put on this character called Lenny, where she was able to say all of her perverted or inappropriate things without the identity being attached to her. Literally start role-playing as someone named Lenny, just so she could say some up stuff. And this was all behind the camera, of course, but in front of the camera, Tiffany would use another character called Frank, which was the family dog that would make a frequent appearance in all of the YouTube videos. And through Frank, Tiffany would literally body shame the girls in front of the camera, confidently saying stuff like Piper had some extra fat, and then when she stepped on a scale in one clip, the dog, who was really Piper's mom, was saying like, oh, that number is too high. Like, you need to work on that. What? Even if it's just a fictional character playing the part, these are kids we are talking about. Brains not fully developed yet. I mean, I never had my mom say outrageous stuff like that to me through a dog character, and I was still so insecure as a young teenager. So I can't imagine how those poor girls felt, especially being such predominant figures online, everyone looking up to you, being told your whole life essentially from the days you were in a pageant that looks are what matters. It's also just bad content for kids to assume. I mean, what they will be taking from her videos is that body fat equals bad, when children should be learning quite the opposite from that your looks do not determine your worth. It's just really, yeah, like, did these people realize that kids would be internalizing these lessons? Even if they aren't really lessons, like, kids will still take from these videos and will probably affect a lot of children in the future. I mean, this does not just apply to Piper's videos in specific. I feel like so much children's content has gone in this complete opposite direction than where we should be going as a society. There was a bunch of other awful things that Tiffany did, which, to keep this video public, because I don't want YouTube to take it down for literally the awful things, probably should not mention them here. The documentary is available on Netflix to watch, so go watch it. It's called Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing. But eventually, the lawsuit was settled for $1.8 million in 2024. And soon after, Tiffany tried to file a countersuit. She claimed in her lawsuit that the parents of these kids were set out to defame her and extort money, but very soon after, she she dropped the suit before the parents could even respond to it. So that went absolutely nowhere, but it's just kind of obvious that they're not trying to defame her. They're trying to get the word out there of what an unsafe situation Piper Raquel is in, because they all claim they don't blame Piper, they blame her mother, because Piper is a victim to this, which of course Piper will later deny over and over again in interviews and on TikTok. But it's really too bad though, because the person who will be paying the 1.8 million at the end of the day is Piper. Even though the lawsuit was not towards her, even though the lawsuit was not towards her, it was towards her mother and Piper's brand. Piper is the breadwinner of the family, brings in majority of the money. I'm sure like 99% of the income comes from her. I mean, she even says this in an interview.
They weren't suing you though, obviously.
The company, it was me. Who has $22 million in my family? They're suing me.
And in the same interview, you can also see Piper getting really emotional while talking about her mother.
And yet there's no estrangement between you and your mom. You guys are living together.
You know, I think a lot of people think that this whole entire thing would definitely bring us farther apart, but this whole entire thing has just made me closer to her, so.
And a lot of people on the internet are claiming this is Stockholm Syndrome at its finest, which is a deep bond that forms between a victim and their abuser. Because victims of abuse often form a strong sense of loyalty towards their abuser. I mean, Piper has been groomed her whole life, so of course it is hard for her to see that. And it's easy for her to just cast aside people's comments for her as hate comments, when in reality, they just want her to see her safe and away from her mom.
Like, I'm not allowed to document my life, but you can make a documentary about me? Like, what? That's legal?
You can also see how attached Piper is to her mom in this clip from a stream she was in.
I know.
Her mom showed up unexpectedly and Piper ran towards her saying, "Mommy," in this soft little kid's voice. Nothing wrong with calling your mom mommy. I mean, I slip up and do that sometimes too. But on top of everything else, it just kind of solidifies how trauma bonded Piper is to her mom and how she starts to act like a little kid, probably because she never had the opportunity to be a little kid. So she's probably constantly trying to chase that. Now, this is a point where everything starts to change for Piper, because in early 2025, she started hanging out with a social media group called the Bop House, which is just yet another content creation house, but this time for OnlyFans creators. At the time, Piper was not a part of the group since she was still a minor.
Piper, look at this comment. Is Piper joining the Bob House? I mean, like, come on. You're not even 18.
But she made TikToks with the other girls, which they claimed was just harmless. You know, it's just filming some TikToks, right? Doing a little dance. But is it really harmless though when the Bop House knew the majority of their audience is grown-ass men there for some perverted reasons, and now these men are also looking at a minor? Yeah. I don't know. The girls also had some drama as to if Piper should hang out with them or not. Apparently, half of the group thought she shouldn't since she is underage.
So you started when you were young too?
Yeah.
And so is Piper?
Yeah.
So can you like help me understand a little bit more why you think it's such an issue? Because it's the same thing.
Not sure if this drama though was scripted, since of course it is the internet, and if there's a camera involved, it's probably for the money. But at least some of the girls had some sensibility of like, maybe we shouldn't be associating her publicly with us since she is a minor. I mean, it seemed like they were just trying to look out for her, but it kind of came across like they were hating on her. The Bop House is so interesting to me. I discovered them while doing research for this. I mean, good for you girls. They live in that lavish life, so I can't blame them. But at this point in our story, the clock was ticking because the internet was counting down the days till Piper's 18th birthday. And you can guess for what reason, because Piper made it very clear what her intentions were: to start an OnlyFans the day she turned 18. Yeah. Because on TikTok, she even posted videos counting down the days until August 21, 2025. I mean, she was sneaky about it too. She posted a video trying to see which one would do better, of her wearing pajamas or like this little kind of scandalous dress. And you might think, okay, well, wouldn't the scandalous dress do better? No, it didn't. Actually, what did better was the pajamas. But the reason for the pajamas doing well is because I'm pretty sure the pants, she was wearing pants that she wore with the Bop House, or that the Bop House wears, because they all like wear matching pajamas and stuff. I don't know. I guess it's a thing. Maybe old men like that. So she was obviously teasing joining the Bop House or starting an OnlyFans. She was sneaky about it for sure. Then the day hit, and as she promised, she dropped the link. The news spread like like wildfire, and Piper reported making $3 million within the first 24 hours. And there is speculation that this was Photoshop because she eventually took down that post and declined speaking about how much money she makes on OnlyFans, but she does sometimes post videos on TikTok saying things like, ugh, I only made $50,000 today, or some crazy number like that. So assuming she's not lying, you can all guess that she makes probably a buttload of money. But this is not the first time a child star opened an OF on the day they turned 18. Bad Baby reported making $1 million within the first 6 hours. But then Little Tay, I think both of these girls are rapper, you know, the catch me outside, how about it people, you know, and then Little Tay, what did Little Tay do? I don't know, she was just devious. She topped that with $1 million within the first 3 hours. But this is all alleged though, because we don't really know how much money they made because Photoshop is a thing and these influencers notoriously like to flex how much money they have. They could be lying. It would not be hard to lie. It's the internet. But if it's true, that means Piper Raquel broke the world record, making $1 million within the first hour. I can't say that's a good thing though. I'm happy for her, make her money, like get that bag girl. But at the same time, it's low-key disgusting that a barely legal girl did so well on OF. And like I said, I don't blame Piper for this because this is all she knows. She was groomed whole life to think that this is normal, but it's disgusting that men out there, old ass men, are more attracted to Piper because of her age and have probably been watching her videos throughout the years, also counting down the days. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the more young you look, the more it sells. And she looks super young. She has that baby face that men fetishize. And I'm pretty sure that Piper is aware of this because she claims she wants to take advantage of her age and profit off of it, claiming in a Rolling Stones article that, I think that you're only in your younger body for a certain amount of time. I'm going to grow old. I'm going to get not as attractive to most people. Yes, that is true. You are no longer going to look like an adolescent. I mean, if you look at any of the girls in the Bop House, they all have that same baby face look to them.
Always just been adult men who are sort of leering after these barely legal women. As a culture, we fetishize youth to such an extreme degree, and what we're really fetishizing there is innocence.
I just think it's disgusting that as a society, the younger a woman looks, the more attractive they are. Because men can age like fine wine, right? Like, I was thinking about this last night when I was scripting this video. Sorry, I'm going off on a side tangent. But I was thinking about this. And I'm thinking about my boyfriend, right? Would younger him have been attractive to me? Like, at all? Like, thinking about little teenage him. And if anything, I was disgusted by that thought. I was like, no. I would want to, like, cuddle him and, like, make sure he's okay and stuff and be kind to him. But no, I would not want to subscribe to an OnlyFans. Sorry, men. It's just men. Anyway, speaking of the Bop House, Piper is now of age to join it. And honestly, I can't tell if she did or not. There are so many different titles out there, from I joined the Bop House to, if it wasn't clear, Piper is not joining the Bop House. And I've heard people say that she joined for a few days, then left, but I honestly don't know. And I honestly don't really care, because what matters is that she creates TikToks with them. And by doing so, she is trafficking the Bop House demographic to her page. Like I said, old ass disgusting men. And this leaves me to question why. Why does Piper feel the need to create an OnlyFans? It was alleged that Piper was bringing in $500,000 per month on YouTube as a child. That's multiple millions of dollars a year. And yes, her channel was demonetized in the more recent years due to the alleged abuse and the Netflix documentary and just like all the shady stuff that goes down. And she claims even if she still did make money from YouTube, she probably would want to move on to a different thing anyways. So this could be a classic case of nothing is ever enough, I want more and more money. Or maybe she spent it all, wasn't able to save it. Who knows? It's really not my business, but it's interesting that Piper feels she has no other option than to start an OF. I mean, since her reputation is already pretty bad with the Netflix documentary, she probably figured she had nothing to lose.
I'm never gonna have a good reputation. I'm never going to have a clean slate. I don't really want a clean slate.
Couldn't do acting, I couldn't do singing because people don't want to work with me. If she wanted to continue her career path on the internet, I think she felt her only option was to do OnlyFans, which is so sad. Can't help but feel bad for her. But what she likes to tell the public is that she does OF so that she can retire her grandma and buy her a car. And I just feel like this is an easy scapegoat because how can you argue with that? I mean, it's a noble thing. Everyone wants their grandma not to work anymore. Like, anybody in her position would want to bring in the funds to support their family, right? So I think it's just an easy way for her to to give a nice background as to why she would want to do OF, when at the end of the day, it probably is just to make more money. On the other hand though, it's really sad to think of all the kids who looked up to her. Even me, as a full-grown adult who used to love her Musical.ly content, it just must be strange for the 10-year-olds to witness her content go from this to this. That's just not what they subscribed or followed for. And I know, YouTubers can pivot. You know, we grow out of things, we grow up, and we evolve. But this is a pivot that will affect so many young children and expose them to a world that they should not yet learn about. If I was a mother of a child who watches content about like role plays and, you know, like a shopping spree, and then all of a sudden it went from that to OF, I would be taking that iPad and throwing it at Goodwill. Actually, I wouldn't have an iPad for my kid in the first place. Mama was raised on the internet, and man, that place is scary. But in response to this conundrum, Piper said the following in an interview with the Rolling Stone. What do you make of the comments in videos that claim you're influencing younger girls to start an OnlyFans account? I've said several times that you can't just drop the link and make $1 million in an hour. That's not realistic. Everyone knows that. I can't force anyone to do anything. If they want to be like me, then be like me. That's their choice. I try to just preach what makes me feel better. I tell them all the time, listen, stop waiting until tomorrow to chase what you want. Stop waiting for someone to give you the green light. If there's something that you want to do and people don't accept it, stop waiting. I don't know, I feel like that's kind of dodging accountability. Like, yes, she can do whatever she wants. Nobody can control her, and at the end of the day, she doesn't really owe anybody anything, but it just kind of feels like the decent thing to do, to consider the little children you will be probably affecting for life. But it seems like she's even saying, like, if these kids want to start an OnlyFans when they're older, so be it. Do what you want to do, girls. To the 10-year-olds. To the 10-year-olds. I just want to end this video by saying that I only wish the best for Piper Raquel. I know that she is a grown-ass adult now who can make her own choices, but it just worries me because her whole life she has been told how to act and told to perform in front of a camera in order to make a living. And I just can't imagine the impact that would have on a growing child. So I just hope that her choice to join OF came from a thoughtful place and did not have any pressure from her momager, because that's what her mom is, really, a momager. Don't send any hate to Piper. Like, that is not what this video is about. It's simply looking at the crazy industry of young OF stars through the lens of Piper Raquel. And I wish the best to all the OF creators. I wish them a bag and safety. That is going to be it for today's video. A little bit of a harsh topic. Let me know your thoughts down below in the description. Not in the description, in the comments. I hope you can't let me know in the description. That would mean you have access to my YouTube channel and can change the video description. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Subscribe if you would dare to have my videos show up on your feed, and I will see you guys later. Mwah. Bye!